hands, you want to think of all of your fingers being alive. So they're not clumped together. They're not like all one thing. They are working in concert, but they all have like their own consciousness, right? Their own life, their own spirit. And so hands, when you're talking about flowy hands, think about the muscle tone that you have shoulder, elbow, wrist, finger. And the shoulder has a lot of feeling, right? So when we do arm things, it's not actually just the arm. It's not like from here down, you know, and this is just my opinion, but a lot of movement comes from here. And we've learned from other teachers as well, right? That the shoulder has a lot of feeling. It can be coquettish. It could be this really imbued, right? So when we're doing arms, think about having this part, right, be the beginning and not just like from the biceps down. It is hard. Don't get me wrong. It is hard. And if I were teaching like snake arms, you know, to an absolute beginner who's like clearly like not liking the shoulder thing, I would say elbow and elbow and elbow and elbow. I think it's a good starting point. But as we are moving on in the choreographies that we're doing, the shoulder becomes a real, like a genesis point of feeling, right? And all the way down to the fingertips. So you want to think from your shoulder all the way down to your fingers and not just like in between the bicep and the wrist, right? Because when we think about arms, we think, oh, it's from here to here. But actually, there's a lot in the bookends, right? The shoulder and the fingers. And you could think of it as like the kitty cat pause. You could think of it that way when you practice like the happy pause, right? You could think about doing some happy pause, yes. And having some tension in the fingers. And the happy pause sideways, right, can look like this. And there's so much variation that you can do with the hands, right? That they frame, or you could do one at a time, or you could do both on the side. There's a lot of variation with hands, right? And we had our hands in our hair earlier today. You want to make sure that from your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips, right? That there is an awareness, right, of your entire arm from here to here. And that you are putting, you know, feeling like generated from here all the way out, right? Otherwise, we're flapping our arms like this, right? This is arms. But if you're feeling something coming through, like, and then through the shoulder all the way to the fingers, right? I'm not really doing a chest lift. You could do a chest lift if you want, but I'm just like, I'm feeling the energy come through. So that's I think a tricky part about arms, because it feels like, well, I want to dance, I want to step right with my feet, I want to shake with my hips. But arms are super important in how you frame your movements. Even if you're just standing here, right? If you're lifted from your diaphragm and you have, right, you have your shoulders, your arms, and your hands, that's different than if you're not doing anything with your arms, right? And you can make it look very different based on just the positioning, right? This all looks very different. I'm keeping this one here. I have sleeves, so maybe you can't quite tell what my elbow is doing. But arms bring a lot of that flavor, that personality, right? Like this looks different than this, right? Which looks different than this. So arms bring a lot of color into the performance. So practice